Everyone. I am Allison Ball, and I have asked Rob Smith to join me today and explain his whiz-bang process for supercharging your 1040 data gathering utilization process. And I think we're going to actually kind of blow your doors a little bit because Rob is going to show a process that allows you to literally touch each tax document once and move it all the way through the process. And you'll also be able to flatten the tax season as well. I think this is pretty much a game changer, wouldn't you say, Rob?
Yeah, I
I'm so excited. It's just a game changer.
yeah,
So let's go ahead and have you get started because there's a lot to cover.
there's a lot to cover.
And yeah,
Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first of all, my name's Rob Smith. I ran my own firm for a number of years. Yada yada yada. Let's just jump right to it.
yada,
Okay,
yada, yada.
yeah, let's just jump right to it.
Yada. Okay. I suppose you kind of left just enough time for people to say, oh, he's got a lot of credentials. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
move
But
forward.
don't dig too deep because those they're not very very deep. But anyway, so for today what we're going to discuss. First of all, I'm going to tell you why 40 is a number that you're going to hate. I'm going to show you what success is going to look like and who's going to be the main benefits from this. We're going to go through some technical training where I'm going to basically show you exactly why and how I'm doing this. And then we're going to take about the next steps and where you can basically go from here. Don't worry about necessarily the how-to, because at the very end, we're going to invite you into the community that will give you step-by-step video training that's going to be able to do everything we do. So what I really
And PDFs as well. So it's there's a lot of support for this. So really, I think the concept is just try and understand the concepts.
yes, it's the
Yeah.
paradigm because what we're doing here is completely different. But once you understand and hook onto this idea, it's going to open up the world completely, and you're going to see it completely through different lens. So the first thing that I want you to hear is there's this quote: "We are drowning in information, but starved for knowledge." This quote was from John Naisbitt from his book Megatrends from 1982. That's 40 years old, this quote, and it still rings true today. Okay, so think about that. 40 years, we're still struggling with this. Okay, the second thing about 40, accountants and bookkeepers spend typically 40% of their time just trying to get client documents. So behind, sit there and suffering in this, drowning information and constantly looking for documents. 40 is a horrible number. Okay. Now, why is this? Well, this is my thought. For 40 years, we've been trying to manage documents. That's all we talk. That's for the last 40 years. It's all about document management. Guess what? For 40 years, we've been struggling with this. Okay. So since 1982, when he said that, we've been trying to manage documents, and it's not working. Document management actually creates information chaos. Okay, what is information chaos? Information chaos is information scattered over many documents and many different locations. Before, everything was in one place. It was in a red well in the file room. We knew where everything was. Life was simple. It was hard work doing a lot of stuff, but it was simple and we knew where everything was. But now with the age of documents, information has been scattered in many emails, many documents all over the place. Okay, so what I want you to do is think about any topic in your life and think about where all that information is scattered. Okay, you've got stuff in emails, you've got stuff in documents, you got stuff in paper, you got stuff in your head, you got stuff on your screens, you've got stuff in communication.
Texting.
Everywhere,
Clients text things. Yeah.
everywhere.
Social media, even some people get documents via social media DMs, and
Yeah, that's exactly right, Allison. I mean,
nuts.
Any topic in your life, and you've got bits and pieces of information scattered everywhere throughout your entire digital and virtual and physical life. Now, looking at those little dots and circles and everything like this, I know what it is because I've been dealing with this information all the time. But Allison, do you have any clue what those dots and dashes and circles mean? If I were to go in there and say, Allison, go in there and find all those pieces scattered throughout this life, find the pieces, put it together, and then utilize it.
No, I don't. I have no idea where you're going with this. I see a couple of circles. Are you trying to draw my attention to that?
Yeah,
but
I mean, yeah,
I don't know. I have no idea what this means, Rob.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I am drowning information, because I know where all this is. So I'm the only one who's going to be able to do it. But Allison you have no clue what I'm even talking about, do you? So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just do it myself. I'm going to just, you know what? I'm not going to delegate it to you because you have no clue what's going on. And it's going to be taking me longer for you to teach you where stuff is. So I'm just doing it myself. That's why I'm grounding and you're starving for knowledge.
Yeah.
And that is our world today. Okay. So that is the problem. Okay. What's the solution? I told you what the problem is, but I'm going to give you the solution. The solution is information management. Managing information creates knowledge. So if I can somehow take all of that information and convert it into knowledge that Alice can use, then we've got something I can delegate to her. I'm not going to be dealing with it because I can delegate it to somebody else. Okay. So what is knowledge? Knowledge is information that is virtually aggregated and put into one place. It allows anybody to be as proficient as the next person. And if you can do that, that is how you're going to scale. That is how you're going to be able to delegate. And that is how you're going to finally be able to go home at 5 o'clock during tax season. Okay. So how are we going to do this? Well, what we're going to do is you're going to create a place to store all the information about topic X. We're going to extract the information from wherever it's located, whatever document or wherever it's sitting. We're going to extract the information and put it in the fewest number of buckets. And then we're going to aggregate all that information and put it together so you can see the entire picture. Okay. So a picture is worth 1,000 words. So this right here is what I'm trying to delegate to Allison. She doesn't know what this means, but I do because I'm an expert. So to me, it's not a problem. But Allison won't even know where to start. So what if I took the information, okay, from some sheets of paper and put it on a board? And I took another piece of paper and put it on a board. I took a screenshot or a text message and put that on the board. So think of a big crime scene board. I'm taking all these pieces of information, printing it out virtually, and sticking it up on a big board for Allison. Okay. I took something from an email. I took something from another email. I took something from another program. I took something from some paper and scanned it in and put that there. I took something from a communication that I had, instead of it being just living there, I actually typed it onto that board. I took something from a phone call and put that on there. And I took something from my head and typed it on the board. Now, Allison, do you know what the heck I'm talking about? Yeah. It's a bicycle, right?
That's
okay.
Brilliant. That's brilliant because it's the whole picture. What you're trying to show is really that all of these documents together on their own, they're just
that's exactly
chaos.
Right.
That you don't know what to do with each one, but when you put it together, you actually can, like a tax return or something.
No, that's exactly right. So for me to sit there and say, Allison, go. So think about this in real life. I've got parts of a bike scattered throughout my entire office. Go find those parts, put it together, and then ride to the store. That's the task.
Yeah.
Or, hey, Allison,
ride to the IRS in this case,
and ride to the store. Yeah. Or do the tax. You see what I mean? That is information chaos and working with knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay. So this
is a great analogy.
So this right here is basically what you're doing. Okay. Chances are this is what individual chaos looks like in our life. You may be juggling, lots and lots of documents to get a tax return done. And this is what you spend all tax season doing. Opening this, going back to here. Where was this? Back and forth, in and out. And then now where was this again? And then all of a sudden you got a document with a bunch of information on it. You're scrolling up and down the document because it's got multiple things.
Well, and that's if you've got it all aggregated. So most people have paper and things, so they have to pull it together.
Yeah, so that's just, you're right. This is halfway down the line, but even then, just dealing with documents, it's still chaos, isn't it?
In and out, in and out, in and out, open, close, open, close. Yeah.
Okay, but then some of you are like, well, I'm going to put it in one big PDF. Okay, well, guess what? Now you have a big, long, tall thing.
That's better. That's better than individual pieces.
You're right. We're getting further down the path. But now what are we doing? We're still scrolling up and down and back and forth and everything like this. And you may be able to put stuff in there and move stuff around, but then you still have a lot of extra wasted space, a lot of stuff you don't need and everything like this. If I were to print this out, this would be about 46 pages.
Oh.
Okay. So this is still chaos. This is still a lot of work. Now you may be a master at it, but it's still tiring. And to get somebody to staff to do this.
And super easy to miss a document or not know if you're missing one, I think, too. Wouldn't there? Like, yeah.
That's exactly right. So this right here is what I'm considering information chaos. This is crazy. Now you may be okay with it, but guess what? Next year, each upcoming year is going to get harder and harder to deal with this chaos. Okay, so what is the solution? Okay, well, there's two pieces of information, and you really need to kind of think about information as it comes in the door. Is it current year information or is it historical information? Okay, and we have to almost kind of treat these kind of separately. So when they come in the door, is this information that I need to get this tax year done, or is it information that I'm going to need for year over year? And we're going to sit there and kind of think about the information as it comes in the door, and kind of mentally label it, because that is going to be important on where we're going to end up putting it. Okay. So right now, right here, you need to make a decision, because if you stay on and continue to do things the same way you've always done it, same way you've done it for the last 40 years, it's going to be no different. And you're going to end up at the same spot. You're going to end up in chaos. You can't scale.
And people are so burned out right now, and they're tired, and everybody's working such long hours during tax season.
Yeah.
And then, of course, also, you have to be able to delegate, because you may need to bring in junior people or interns or something. So you have to be able to delegate.
That's the only way you're going to be able to sit there and put the time on where you should be putting it, and being able to scale, or maybe even go home early and have a better life quality. Okay. So right now you have a choice to make: continue doing the same thing and living in chaos, or manage information and start building knowledge. And these two sheets right here is how you're going to do it. So let's get to it. Okay. So this is what success is going to look like. You're going to have all the documents that you need in a complete summarized set for each client, and you're going to get it on a timely basis really quick. Your reviewers are going to be able to annotate the documents and basically, create a summary for every single client. It's going to have all the relevant information you need and all the pertinent notes. The clients are going to understand what you need, and they're going to have a secure method that's going to work for both you and the firm. And they're going to do everything in one place on a timely basis. And guess what? Nobody's going to go crazy, because we're going to have a great tax season. Who benefits? Well, reviewers are going to spend less time reviewing. Less experienced staff is going to have the knowledge, and they're going to have the structure to be able to do something as well as an experienced person. An experienced person, first year, they're going to maybe complain a little bit, but the second year, they're going to save time next year and beyond. But more importantly, your clients are going to, because you're going to have all the information. You're going to be able to do it faster. You're going to be able to do it with less stress, and you're going to be able to get all that information and be able to provide a better product for your client.
I don't know about complaining. I think once they understand, for number 3, I think once they understand and they see the benefit, and then
but Allison, you're 100% right. But that is where I've heard the most kickback, because with your experienced staff, you're probably going to sometimes have a little bit of resistance, because they're used and they're in a rut. And if you get any kickback, that's where it's going to be. So I'm just trying to warn you that this is where you may get a little pushback. But once they get into it and they do it and they realize that, okay, change isn't so bad, it's okay. Everybody else it's gonna be win-win-win. And then but that's just I'm just telling you that, because that you may get a kickback. I've seen some kickback.
I think it's fair enough, but I tend to think that people are pretty good once they understand the purpose and the benefits.
That's yes, you are correct. And that's, if you have staff like that, then you're ahead of the game. Okay, but more importantly, who's going to benefit the most? Future you. Okay, because future you is going to be older and tireder and probably busier. So
or happy as a clam that you did this.
Yes, that's exactly right, Allison. If you do not change today, future you will hate you. If you change today and work to make tomorrow better, future you will love you. So let's do this for future you. Okay, so this right here is the 1040 grid. This is where all the magic happens. Okay, so what is this? Well, first of all, at the very top there, okay, we have hyperlinks. We're basically creating an intranet or an internet and connecting every piece that exists for our clients, wherever it's at, a website, Teams, whatever it is, we're one click away. So you come here, one click away, no more scrolling through File Explorer, no more going in there and going click, click, clicking, taking 8 clicks to get somewhere, one click away. 2, any notes. So if you get a phone call and you have to quickly put down a note, boom, you can come right here. And then here we have a grid for every single document in the exact order for both the preparer and the reviewer. And they're going to be able to go in and just lay this out in a perfect order. Not only that, have the document sitting right there and just the document, no more extra, fluff, no more verbosity or anything like that. But over in this first column right here, you're going to have carryover notes that are going to help this year's tax preparer, but more importantly, next year's tax preparer. Because if you had to go in there and do some research to find out that this box has to be entered on this screen, and it took you maybe 5 to 10 minutes to do that, you just put that little note right here, and you just saved yourself 5 to 10 minutes next year. Okay, and that is how future you is going to love this. Okay, and that right there is what I was talking about right there. You got all the carry notes for both the reviewer and the preparer right there. Okay, the second piece, now this is the current year. This grid right here is where we're going to put information to get the current year tax return done. But this type of form, now this is just a simple form. You can put whatever you want on this form. Think of it like a client intake. This form right here is where you're going to put historical information that you're going to need year over year over year. And you can make this be whatever you want. Now, this is kind of a simple form. I made this probably about 10 years ago, I haven't really changed it since then. But whatever information your firm would need, you're going to create your own form, and your own boxes to put what you want. And that's what thing. So you know where all the information basically goes. It's right on this form. Need to know information. Once again, you can put hyperlinks in there, more notes. I like to put pictures in there because my staff, by seeing the picture, it kind of made them more human instead of just a name. So I like putting pictures, and that way, you know, it just helps me visualize who my clients are, because sometimes you have 1,000 clients, stuff keep track of everybody. Okay, and then this way, I had a place down here where we always had a problem with billing on how much time we spent, this, that, and the other, and just some real important phone calls. Just a little teeny grid to kind of manage that right there. But at the end of the day, this can be whatever you want it to be. So now let's talk about the typical 1040 workflow. Okay, first of all, you're going to gather the information in documents. We're going to have to then organize them. Okay, identify, consolidate, and prune them. We're going to then prepare the tax return, which we're not going to really get into too much today. But you got to do, you got to enter, you got to do data entry, review it, and then inquire for some, questions and any missing information. And then you're going to present the workflow. So we're not going to really get too much into the last two parts here. We're going to talk more about these first two parts right here. So everything is done as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So you can do these last two as quick. So you can do these last two a lot quicker. So these are going to be kind of the technical 4 steps we're going to be talking about today. Gathering the client information in documents. Then we're going to talk about the data grid and the dashboard. We're going to talk about how to actually use this. And then we're going to talk about how we can get additional information from the client. Okay. So now the whole thing of this basically stems from the theory of getting things done. Okay. When you're gathering information and you're gathering documents, David Allen said, what you want to do is collect this stuff and put it in one secure place in the fewest number of buckets possible. Because if everything's right there, you know where it's at, you know where to put it, and you know where to go to basically deal with it. And that's what we're going to basically do with this theory right here, getting things done. Okay, so it all stems from here. So right here, I want you to kind of think about the information chaos here. Where's the information? Okay, under which cell, basically is it? Okay, so right now, here's what's typically happening with information chaos. First of all, a bookkeeper, maybe, or the client will sit there and email one of your staff a document. And then the owner will text the manager. And then all of a sudden, the owner will email, or the manager emails the owner emails the bookkeeper calls the staff emails the manager keeps some information in their head, the owner sends paperwork back to the bookkeeper mails paper to the staff who scans, the staff asks the owner about some information in a text, the owner tells the staff the manager has it, the staff asks the manager for information in the text, chaos wins again. I can barely read this because it's so chaotic. Can you imagine living this? And this is what's happening in your day-to-day life.
Yeah, and I think the worst thing is when the owner of the firm asks the client for something they've already given a staff person.
Yeah. And
right. Or it's embarrassing, or there's so many things that can happen there. And then the other thing, as you were telling me this story, I was thinking, I wonder how many blind copies and CCs and extra emails are sent, and like all the places that people have to look. It's absolutely crazy making. But this doesn't sound on like I'm not rejecting what you just said here. This all sounds like this would be happening on a regular basis.
And just think about this. This is only one client.
Yeah.
And 1,000 clients.
How are you going to keep all that in your head?
I know. This time's like 1,000. Okay, it's crazy. Yeah. That's just one client. You can't. It's impossible. Okay, so chaos is going to win again. You're going to lose. So what's the answer? Okay, and also not only that.
Oh yeah, there's no security built into any of those things.
Yes, this is security risk written all over it. Okay, I hate to admit this, but I was sitting there. I had a client. I was waiting on an email. It was the middle of tax season. I was super stressed. It was crazy. I was expecting an email from a client. I got an email. I saw an attachment. I didn't even think about it. I opened it. And all of a sudden, I started seeing everything getting zipped up. I opened something. I immediately shut it off. Luckily, we had a backup and we didn't get too far. But I myself, and if it happens to me, it can happen to anybody. So this is
especially when people are tired.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
It's
security has to be automatic. I think
Yep.
that's one of the things that it just needs to be part of the automatic flow of things.
Yeah, and that's exactly
Yep.
right. But this right
Yep.
here is not secure and it's completely chaotic. So
Yep.
what is the answer? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to convert all this chaos to knowledge. The way we're going to do that, so first of all, we're going to get rid of the chaos. Then what we're going to do, instead of communicating through that, both the firm and the client are going to use the same one portal, one application. Okay, now you can use this from either your phone or from your computer on both sides. But instead of all these other channels, everybody's going to go through one pipe. So all this information, all the documents, it's all going to be in one pipe, whether it's a document, a message, or a task. One place. That's getting things done. Okay, so no more of this other stuff. It's all going to be back and forth. What would you rather have? Would you rather have this or this? That seems a lot cleaner, doesn't it? It's kind of almost a rhetorical question. This is what you want.
Yeah.
One place.
And it's secure. Yeah.
Back and forth, completely secure. Okay, completely secure.
Yep.
And there's basically right here, so you've got everything in one place, one location, completely secure. The firm has 100% transparency and the client owner has document transparency. So the owner is always going to be able to see whatever their staff or somebody they've assigned to has basically sent. Okay, so it's transparent, it's secure, it's one, it's simple.
And you're saying you're achieving your get things done, you're capturing the open loops because it's all you're putting it into one bucket.
That's exactly right.
Very good.
So basically what we're going to do here is we're going to basically use Liscio to put everything into one big funnel, and all of this information, whether it's message, tasks, or documents, are all going to basically funnel down into something that I'm calling the Liscio Information Queue. So
and emails also can go in there as well.
That is correct. Yep. And emails can basically go in here too. So everything that you're going to be able to do is all going to basically be in one place. Okay. So one last thing. Sometimes people are still going to call. There's going to be stuff in your head. Okay. How are we going to get that into the queue? How are we going to digitize that? Something that's ethereal, something that's just, non-tangible. How are we going to basically do that? Well, what we're going to do, what did we used to do?
You'd write it in a note. Wouldn't you just take a note, right?
Remember that green? Yeah, they don't sell. Whoever was basically selling that green paper, they probably may have gone out of business. But man, they were raking in the money because everybody had that green paper. You'd pull out that green pad of paper, write your notes, go and file it in the Manila folder. But now what you can do is using Liscio Dispatch is you're going to be able to go in, take a screen clipping of something. Okay, so if you see, because normally it's virtual right on the screen. You can take a screen clipping of it, print it, just go to the printer, go to Microsoft, print to a PDF, print it straight into the Liscio Dispatch, which is a folder on there. Okay, I'm not going to show you this one that we've got videos to basically show you that. But when you do that, it's like virtually putting it into the queue. So you just take a screenshot, print it, and it goes right into the queue.
So I have I'm sorry, this is, Rob calls these alleruptions, by the way. Yep. I have an alleruption. So if this is a mental thing, what you're saying is you put it into some sort of note,
like let's say there's something
like
in my head.
OneNote. Maybe you put it into OneNote or something, and then you're going to screen clip that and put it into Liscio, so it's part of the queue.
Yes,
so that it gets processed. And
yes.
the cool thing is you're just doing that at the time it happens, and then it sits in the queue until you're ready to process. Did I get that right?
You got that 100% right. That is exactly right. So if it's in my head, I type it down, I screen clip it, and it goes right into the queue. If I
get it in there.
Let's say I log on to a bank website and there's information on the bank website that I need for the return. Screen clip, print, queue. Guess what? It's right where I need it. And whenever whoever's going to prepare that return, guess where it's at?
It's there. You have it. Yeah.
Waiting.
Yeah. Cool.
Processed. That's simple. Okay. So that's what's happened. Everything gets funneled into the information queue. And where that information queue exists in Liscio is the Files tab in Liscio. So all of these documents right here are basically sitting there waiting to be processed.
I see you've got one called handwritten notes, and you've got some W-2s and property tax bills, IRS letters. You've got all sorts of stuff in there. Yeah.
That's exactly right. So it doesn't matter whether it came from the client or got uploaded from the firm, because I actually had a client, people dropped off. They're like, well, what about if people drop off paper? Well, guess what you do? You scan it and drop it right into dispatch, and it goes right into the queue. So everything ends up.
Or you could just use the built-in scanner.
Oh yeah,
on your phone.
Yeah, you can do that on your phone. But in this case, they had like 30. They had a lot of documents, so they just did it. But either way, though, no matter what you're doing, all information, all roads lead to the queue. So every piece of information, no matter how big or small, is sitting in this line until it's ready to be processed.
In your active files section for that client.
That's exactly right. And then as you, and what we're going to do is we're going to go in, deal with each one once, knock it off the list until the list is done.
So the cool thing here is this actually, you're going to cover this now. So I was jumping. No, I was jumping ahead because you're going to talk about, you can process them. I'm one step ahead of you.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Because here's the thing, because normally what people do is, because you're picking up, putting down, opening documents many times, there's a lot of times where people won't start on a return.
They can't because they're missing too many things.
Right. Yeah. So, and they don't want to keep opening and when you start on work on a file before, you're going to have to go back into the documents and reopen them to see if you did it. And then that is a huge waste of time.
Way too many clicks.
Way too many clicks. So this is basically what our tax season has become. We sit there, we wait for everything to happen. We finally get everything on March 4th. So now all of a sudden I got, in early January, late January, early February, we're sitting around kind of going, we're leaving at 5 because there's not enough work to do. It's all going to basically end up on March 15th to April 15th. And now we're working until midnight. It's crazy.
Awful.
Okay? So this is exactly what our tax season looks like. It's wait, rush. But what if you started dealing with the stuff as it came in just in time? So as the documents came in, because you're only opening the documents once, you open it, you put it away, and never touch it again.
And it makes sense that clients would send the bulk of their documents sort of early February when they get them.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's when I get all my tax documents, right? That I need for my tax preparer for my 1040.
In January.
Sometimes I get them in January, sometimes I get them in February. But my point is that I could just send them as I go.
That's exactly right.
I get it, I send it. I get it, I send it. Yeah.
That is exactly what you want to tell your clients. As soon as you get something, you open the mail, you pull out your phone, you take a picture of it and send it.
And it's not a picture, it's actually a PDF. It's the Liscio scanner.
Yes, that is
I go into Liscio, just like kind of depositing a bank check, right? Like it's in the app, so it's secure, but you get a PDF, which is really cool. You don't have to translate it. It's not a picture. That's my point. If it is a picture, then it's kind of like a text, and then you've got to do extra things.
No, you're right. I said picture because from the client's point of view, that's what they think they're doing.
But you're actually scanning. You're actually scanning it.
It's taking a picture, turning it into a scan, into a PDF. So when you get it, it's a PDF sitting in the queue, ready for you to rock and roll.
And then if it comes in via email or by a sort of, maybe you got to download it from your bank portal, you could just download it into your hard drive and drag it into Liscio. So the client is super easy. They can, but the point is get it when you get it as they receive it. Yeah.
Yep. And then if it comes in early, guess what you're going to do? In early January and February, you're going to start working on this stuff. So you're going to pull time out of March and April. You're going to pull time out from 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night in March and April.
I love this so much. I can't even stand it. Just this whole idea of being able to to flatten out that tax season. You could even have a sliding scale for people to incent them to send their documents early, right?
Yeah.
Because you've made it so easy for them.
That's exactly right. And tell them and say, look, if you basically the sooner you get your stuff in, the sooner you're going to get your return done. Yep.
Okay, let's see how you do it.
Okay, well, basically this right here is where it's very simple. Like, for example, when you need information, if you email the client, if you call them up, if you do whatever, they're not gonna look at their email. They're just not going to. But if the client has an app on their phone and you mention them saying, hey, look, I need this last piece of information, they have the app on their phone. They're going to get a ding. They're going to see it. They're going to be able to go, oh, it's sitting right here on my desk. They don't have to go to a scanner on their computer. They can just pull out their phone, take a picture. It gets converted to a PDF. And then 2 minutes later, you got it. No more waiting. No more waiting for the client to sit there and figure out how they're going to get it to you. They pull out their phone dings. They take a picture. It turns to a PDF and comes straight into the queue. You process it. You're done.
Super fast. Yep.
And then also, this is what it looks like. They come in.
That's the scanner. Yeah.
Basically push the scanner. It automatically wraps around it. And then voila, it turns it, scans it, and sends it right to you. Okay. And then right here, tasks. You're going to sit there and you're going to say, hey, instead of maybe a message, maybe you want to send a task. So I need this, this, and this. You send a task. And if they don't do it, they're going to get a weekly reminder bugging them. So you don't have to even think about it. It's just going to keep bugging
And you know,
them and nagging them until they get it done.
the interesting thing about this, Rob, is that a lot of times people go to do the tax returns and they realize they don't have an engagement letter. So you can send those in bulk through, like, create the engagement letter once, send them out to all the people you don't have them for, and then just like just get on with the work. So there's a lot of things there, but I love that you mentioned the mobile reminders, because it means that you don't have to track those tasks.
That's exactly right.
Right. And then automated reminders.
Now, I could probably spend another hour just talking about Liscio, but
no, but yeah, you got to go to the meat of it. Yep.
Okay. So let's talk about the grid. Okay. Now here's the thing with the grid, with this one right here, how to create the grid. We're going to give you a way to do that. So right now, don't worry about how to create this and anything like that. Okay. Basically the grid is, we're actually going to give you a copy of the grid that you're going to be able to go through, and we're going to teach you basically how to do that in something called the Grove, which is an online community. Okay. But one thing about this one right here, when I first rolled this dashboard out, I call them a dashboard. When I rolled this dashboard out, I did it one tax season on February 26th. I asked my staff, we had somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 1040s. Unanimous staff approval. Every staff member wanted to do this, even though it was going to be more work from them. They wanted it because it was going to be that much helpful to them. So when the staff wants it, you know it's beneficial. Okay. So once again, we kind of talked about the dashboards here. Same thing here. Unbelievable. Okay. Where are these forms stored? Okay. Now this is the one thing that I want you to understand. Okay. Where are these stored? Because this is mentally kind of, you know, what's going on here. Okay. Basically, this is stored in Microsoft OneNote. What is Microsoft OneNote? It's basically a virtual filing cabinet. So that's what everything when I'm talking about it, think of a filing cabinet. Right up here, see where it says 1040 A to L? That right there means I have a filing cabinet for all my 1040 clients from A to L. Pretty simple, right? This section group right here, this B, that means it's drawer B. So I have a filing cabinet with a drawer for my B clients. Okay. Then I have a section tab, which is just like a manila folder. So right here, I got Mike and Carol Brady. See this tab? That is a manila folder for Mike and Carol Brady. And lastly, right over here are different pages that I have virtually printed off and put in this virtual manila folder. That's all it is. It's a virtual filing cabinet. Drawer, manila folder, printouts. Okay. Now, right here, I told you what to do and maybe why you should do it. But how are you going to do it? Well, what we're going to do here on the how to do it is we're going to come in at the very end. We're going to give you a link to be able to join our cooperative library, now called the Grove. That's going to basically give you step by step exactly how to do this. So don't worry about how to. Just sit back, watch what I'm going to do, and we're going to go from there. Okay. This is what it looks like. And
full on instructions. Yeah. And we also have deep dives that people can join if they want to get stuck or whatever. So
and we're even thinking about doing office hours where we're going to be going in there, and when you run across a question, we'll be sitting around ready to answer your question.
Lots of support. Okay, so let's watch you do. Let's watch you do it.
Into it. So let's just kind of jump down to it and get right into it. But basically, what we're going to do is we're going to access the document. We're going to mark it up. We're going to screen clip it into the grid. We're going to save the document in the DMS, and then we're going to tag and archive it. Okay. Now, steps 2 and 3 are optional, but you can do them if you want. And then here, tagging, you're going to only tag, you're going to tag any documents if you're going to look it up in the future. You're not going to look up maybe.
Well, if your client wants to look it up in the future. Yeah, because it'll be in Liscio. They always want their W-2s later.
W-2, tax returns. You're going to tag this so the client can easily find it within this. Okay. And then you're going to repeat until everything's basically done. But once again, you're going to touch the document once. Okay. 1, 2, 3, you're good to go. Now let's actually look at it. Okay. We've been talking about it. So let's actually look at it. So this right here is a filled out 1040 grid right here. Could you imagine how easy this would be to enter and then review off of this?
Now, people have to forgive our fake data because we're mixing years there, 2012, 2021, 2015. Just pretend it all says,
the same
2021.
I didn't want to use anybody's.
No, this is all fake data.
Real data. I didn't want to use their real data. So,
it's all fake.
Yeah, but and then with this, what do these colors mean? Well, right here, if there's a document with white, that means it hasn't been entered yet. Blue means it's been entered. Yellow means there's an issue, and green means it's been reviewed. So you're going to be able to visually see what needs to be done. Right over here, these are going to be notes that are going to carry over year to year, and everything is clicked right here. So how do we actually go about doing this? Okay, so what we're going to do here is there's a simple grid, and we're going to come in and do some hyperlinks, which I'm not going to show you how to do here. I'm just going to kind of get down to the thing right here, but I'm going to just kind of come in here, copy this grid right here, and just replace this grid right there. Okay, now normally what I'm just doing is I'm just kind of coming in and putting, actually, let me take this again real quick. Control X. There we go. Okay, so then we've got that. I'm just going to shrink it down a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now, once again, these right here show me of, these are hyperlinks to where I'm going to go. So right here, if I click this, Teams, it will sit there and link me right into Microsoft Teams. Okay, right there. It took me right into the Teams channel that I've got sitting right here for Mike and Carol Brady.
Into your client, because you actually did, I just clicked, you copied that hyperlink. So it takes you exactly where you need to go.
That's exactly right. Because I've got a channel for Mike and Carol Brady. It took me right there to where I needed to go.
But this is just for internal communication, right? Just where your staff. You're not going to bring the client in there.
That is just the client. This right
internal
here,
chat.
This right here links me to his business, Acme Inc. This right here links me to his real estate taxes online. This links me to an Excel file that I'm going to use to basically work on it. And this right here links me to Liscio. So if I click this right here,
into his own Liscio.
Yeah. So right now I'm going to come in and show that I'm logged into Liscio, but I'm on the home page. I'm nowhere near him. I just come right here, one click away. I click this right there. That takes me directly to his information queue right there. These are the things I need to process. So
we're in Mike and Carol Brady into the account, and we're in the active file section for them.
Right there.
So these are all of the documents that they've been uploading or you've been uploading in the queue.
Sitting right there.
Okay.
And then and then all I got to do is come into each one, click on a document, bring it up. Now what I'm doing here is I'm actually using Microsoft Edge. Okay. And the reason why I'm using Microsoft Edge is because with Microsoft Edge, I can come in and highlight things right inside there.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I've got the document up. I've highlighted it, but you don't have to. Okay. I'm going to then come in back to the grid. Works really great on dual monitors, but here I'm kind of using one screen, so I got to flip back and forth. But I'm going to come in here and go, what was that again? That was actually mortgage interest.
It's a 1098.
Yeah, 1098. So I'm going to come down here and it's right there. Schedule A interest. Click this box right here. Click screen clipping right there. OneNote disappears. Everything grays out. I left click right where I want. Scroll down and basically just take that right there and screen clip just what I need right into the piece right there. So now I've got that information sitting right there. Okay. Then all I do is I go back to Liscio. Okay. Here I can come in. If I want to change the tags, I can change the tags. But in this case, I'm not going to. If I want to come back to this, let's say this is a document that the reviewer may want to see. Okay, maybe it's not real simple. Maybe it's got multiple pages and you want to make sure the reviewer if you think the reviewer may want to see it, all you have to do is use this little copy link button up here. Click copy link, come right over to here, click right in here and paste.
Just pop it in there.
Then you've got a link back to that original document. That easy. Okay, then you come back over to here. Once we've done that, if you want to save it into your DMS, you just click the save button, browse out to where your location is, and then save it. And then you can edit the tags right there. But at the end, all you're going to do is click archive, and then close it. And then when you come over here, it's still sitting right there. But as soon as I refresh it, that 1098
just comes off the queue. Yep.
That's exactly right. And it's that simple. It's that simple. And you just go through each and every one of these. Okay. Now, one thing you can do is when you come over here, we can come back. Now, if I click on this link, it takes me right back to that thing, one click away. No more browsing, no more going through File Explorer, no more trying to figure out where it is. One click away. Okay. And then also on some of
all your staff would have access to that too, because they would each have their own login into Liscio and be assigned to that client so they could see it. So this actually, it's all really starting to make sense that you're touching that document once,
Yep.
organizing it, right?
Yep. And then what you can do here, now, one of the things down here, I actually just moved the driver's licenses onto this page right here, because at first I had the driver's license on the 1040 grid, but I'm like, well, I may need this information year over year. So that was more long-term information. So I moved it over to the dashboard here. So now there's two things you can do here. One, and this is a theory here. It's like, do you want a virtual picture of it in your notes, or do you want to keep it in a secure location? Because like right now, how comfortable are you having social security numbers and driver's license sitting in your, I mean, now OneNote's secure because it's in 365, okay? But still, having somebody's driver's license in your file just kind of makes me a little, I don't know, but once again, at the end of the day, whatever you want to do, you can do. I'm just giving you both options. So you can either have a picture right there, or you can come in and leave it in Liscio, which is secure. So that way you never have it in your Workpapers and link to
behind a login. So if anybody got that and they went to click on it, they wouldn't be able to get directly in because they wouldn't be logged in.
There you go. So this,
I like that option better, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got, option one, which is right there. Okay. And it took a while to find Mike's, license right there. But once again, though, or you can leave it behind the secure walls of Liscio right there and just link to it right there. But that right there, so you either bring a picture in, or you link to it, or do you do both? But that's what we're talking about. Short-term information for the return goes here. Year over year goes on this one, and all the information you're going to need to basically get the job done. Now, you're going to still struggle and maybe be missing some information, right? So guess what we're going to do? Right up here, here's the link to the handwritten notes. So maybe we put this one right here, and I want my reviewer to see the handwritten notes. Now, on this one right here, I just have a simple, those are all the handwritten notes, because this one right here has a lot of stuff, because what I did was I screen clipped this out, and then I screen clipped, because this is Schedule A. This is Schedule E. This is Schedule A. This is Schedule C. This is
And this might have been something that your client dropped off, or that you asked them maybe an interview over the phone or whatever.
But I have a feeling the reviewer is going to want to look back this over, because I cut these out into little pieces. Because remember, all these little pieces, they were scattered all throughout. Exactly where it belonged.
Just where they needed to go on each schedule, which is really awesome.
Yes, but the reviewer may want to see it. And then also, if we're missing information, I need moving expenses, and I sent a task, and I real estate taxes. Right here, if we ever communicate with that, guess what we're going to do here? That hyperlink will take us directly to the task that we sent to the client. One click away, you're going to be able to see the status of it, know exactly where it's at.
And all the communications on it as well.
It's all right there. And you're going to be able to go back through there and go, oh, I don't have to ask Mike again, because he's already solved it. So now you don't look like you didn't put your foot in your mouth asking a question that had already been answered. Okay. So it's all basically right there. And then lastly, and then here's what's really cool. Okay. Here's what's really cool. Because guess what we're going to do next year? We're going to come in here, go to table, go insert to the left. I'm going to come over. I'm going to make this a little bit wider, just like this. I'm going to come in. I'm going to select this column, and I'm going to unshade everything, get rid of all the coloring. Guess what we have now? Side-by-side Workpapers. Okay, show me.
This is so cool. I think this might be the coolest thing, honestly, because you can see just at a glance what they did last year and then compare to this year, and just eyeball whether there's a big problem.
Yeah.
Right? Experience.
And for a new staff, they may not know what the look like, but they're going to see, because generally speaking, the clients do the same thing year after year, and it looks the same. 90% of it. So they're going to be able to see what last year's looked like without having to go through last year's Workpapers and go through 40 sheets of paper to find something.
So cool.
And guess what? Right here, mileage is whatever.
X is whatever the amount is, or you have to remember to deduct the personal. Yeah, you could put all sorts of things.
All these little notes that are easily overlooked, that are buried on some page, on page 50 of 500 pages. It's right there, year over year over year. Yeah. That right there is basically the information right there.
Amazing.
Okay.
So I think most people can understand how they would basically use this to gather everything.
And this right here are just some screen clippings of showing you kind of how I basically kind of did some other stuff right there.
How you saved it in a SharePoint, how you put it into, yep.
Yep.
And then you showed how to manage additional information. You showed that.
Yep. And then basically right there, I'm just kind of showing you some screen clippings right there where you can just pause the video and do this. But we also have this stuff in the community. Now, so here's the deal. This is the entire summer. Okay. You're going to basically allow your clients to deliver information that works for them. You're going to start working as soon as possible to flatten out the tax season. You're going to open each document once. You're going to enable less experienced staff. You're going to save time for reviewers. You're going to allow more experienced staff to delegate more in the future. You're going to be able to see the big picture. You're going to better be able to communicate with your clients. And this is going to allow you to finally scale effectively and efficiently.
And I think that you're also you could go to the next slide. Well, I think that you're also just going to have a better tax season and not have to keep all that chaos in your brain.
That's exactly right.
I don't know. For me, I felt really relaxed once I understood this process. And I thought, okay.
Now, Allison, it took a while for it took a while for it to sink in.
It did. So that's why I wanted to come on this, because it did take me a couple of goes before I really understood it. And I thought, as I was going through it, I was thinking, well, why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? But then I realized if you're going to be sitting down and entering 1,200 tax returns, or you're going to be supervising a couple of people to do that, you really need a way to move fast that's going to work with your remote office environment. Like you couldn't mail all the documents from person to person, or I don't even know how you'd manage it. And then opening and closing, that was the thing where I thought, boy, I've been there. I've done that. Had to open, close, or scroll. And so what do you end up doing? You end up printing it out.
That's exactly
right. And then you've got sensitive documents printed it out, right?
Yeah. Now with this one, okay, I will. People still like paper. Okay, people like still paper because remember, I said this was 48 pages on a PDF, right? You can still, if you want,
you can print it out. Yeah.
Look, check this print preview. So this print preview drops that down to basically 7 pages.
There you go.
Look at that. How'd you like to, if you had to go to paper, how you could, so what you could do here.
So that one you might want to print and then just shred afterwards.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take this to kind of lock this into place. What you're going to do is you're going to print this to a PDF, and that version of that PDF then becomes your locked Workpapers that you use for the return.
Love it.
Yep.
So Rob, let's go back to the slide where people can join. And folks, you just hover your camera. You don't actually take a picture of just hover your camera and it should take you to the right place for you to join. Just sign up with your email. And
we'll also put a link to where we're going to basically have this video accompanied with this video. We will have another link to you that you can just click on right on your computer and then basically join. But this is there's no charge to sign up and no charge to participate in this, and just put your name, email, and a password, accept the terms, and then click sign up, and then you will be in the community. There is a quick 8-minute video that it summarizes really quickly.
If you need it. I didn't find I needed it, but if people want to know everything there is to know, soup to nuts, then they can go through it. But we do hope that you have enjoyed this. I know I did. And thank you, Rob. I think this is going to be a great resource for people. And hopefully, folks, my questions were helpful. The interruptions.
No, absolutely. And with this right here, just right when you come in here, when you actually do come into the library, okay?
Yeah.
You come in here, you're going to go in to the tax department. Like these, think of these as wings of the library. Yeah. Number of resources, firm management, tax department right there. At the very top, you'll see MS 365 tax department setup.
Just jump right in there, and right there on number 2, set up here.
And then just
chat. Yeah.
Right here, just follow this along right here. And then what I showed you right here, number 2, set up the 1040 grid workflow.
Right there.
You click this, and then it'll take you right here to this, and this will guide you step by step, video by video on exactly what to do. And if you don't know OneNote, we got some stuff down here and everything. We got you. So just
all
this and go from there.
So we're going to wrap now. Thank you, Rob. Thank you so much. And I hope, folks, this was useful for you. And we look forward to seeing you on the Grove.
Yep.
So thank you very much, everybody.
Have a good day.